remembering.
我哋要紀念。
Today our theme is remembering.
今日我哋嘅主題就係紀念，要銘記於心。
When we take the cup and we take the bread, it's remembering what Jesus has done.
當我哋拿起餅、拿起杯嘅時候，就要紀念耶穌為我哋做嘅事情。
Each of us have a different story.
每一個人，我哋在座每一位都有自己嘅故事。
But our story has the same theme.
但係我哋故事宗旨唔一樣，但係裏邊都有同一個主題。
Jesus Christ.
主題就係耶穌基督。
Because of Him, today we are here together.
因為耶穌基督，今日我哋聚集在一齊。
As we take this cup and take this bread, we are remembering what we have done for our lives.
當我哋一齊食呢個餅、飲呢個杯嘅時候，我哋一齊紀念耶穌為我哋做嘅一切。
And it's such a beautiful remembrance.
呢個紀念係好美好嘅。
No matter who you are,
無論你係邊個，
no matter what you have done,
無論你做緊咩嘢，
it is finished on the cross.
耶穌已經喺十架上面成就一切。
He has suffered for our sin.
佢已經為我哋嘅罪受苦。
And our sin has been forgiven.
而我哋嘅罪因為佢而得到赦免。
As we come, we want to remember what He has done.
當我哋今日聚集一齊嘅時候，我哋要紀念耶穌為我哋嘅所做嘅一切。
Remember that we have been set free.
紀念耶穌已經釋放咗我哋。
We have the capacity to live an abundant life.
我哋因此可以一個豐盛嘅生活。
Let's pray.
我哋一齊祈禱。
Thank you, Jesus.
多謝耶穌。
Thank you for dying on the cross.
多謝你寫喺十字架上。
Thank you for setting us free.
多謝你釋放我哋不自由。
We want to commit ourselves to you.
我哋要將我哋自己生命獻上俾你。
We want to live like you do.
我哋要想跟隨你，過你想我哋過嘅生活。
We want to express the best that we can.
我哋咧想將我哋嘅最美好嘅一面呈現俾你。
We want to spread your goodness.
我哋咧想將你嘅美好宣揚出去。
Those people around us who do not know you,
向嗰啲未認識你嘅人宣揚出去。
they too know that Jesus is God.
以致佢哋都係明白耶穌基督係神。
They too know that Jesus has set them free.
以致佢哋知道耶穌都釋放自由俾佢哋。
They too know that God loves them.
以致佢哋都知道神愛佢哋。
So thank you as we take this cup and this bread together in Jesus' name.
我哋就一齊吃呢個餅，一齊飲呢個杯，用耶穌基督聖名祈求。
Let's take it together.
我哋一齊食呢個餅。
Testimony this morning.
今日早上我哋會有兩個見證要同大家分享嘅。
A testimony of God's in their life.
係分享神喺佢哋生命裏面做啲咩嘢。
One from our Chinese service.
有一個咧就係嚟自中文嘅聚會嘅姊妹。
She will speak in Cantonese and the translation will be on the overhead projector.
呢個姊妹咧就會用廣東話向大家分享見證，而佢嘅見證嘅英文版咧會打喺熒幕上面。
And another testimony from a young person from the English congregation.
咁樣咧，我哋當中咧亦都有由英文嘅聚會裏邊咧有位年青人會出嚟同我哋英文分享佢嘅見證。
It will be translated in Cantonese.
而一陣間咧，佢分享嘅時候亦都會廣東話嘅傳譯。
So right now I ask Sister 怡萍。
而家有請耀萍姊妹。
弟兄姊妹，大家好，啲主內好，感謝神啦，感謝神俾我有一個機會喺大家一齊面前去見證神喺我身上嘅恩典。感謝主。當牧師同埋災時問我，可唔可以喺呢個堂慶裏邊去做一個感恩嘅見證，我心裏即刻已經講咗唔得㗎啦。但係即係以後即係經過我自己祈禱啦，因為我覺得真係喺面前喺人嘅面前去感恩係我嘅福氣，絕對係感謝主。後嚟我回想起喺主恩浸信會20週年堂慶嘅時候，災時都叫我喺20週年紀念年刊裏邊去寫一段文字去感恩嘅。但係當時我都係好驚嘅，但係靠住神俾我嘅力量啦，我真係做到啊！但係不過今日要親口喺對住咁多人面前講，我真係好驚好驚，我而家都好驚㗎。因為我靠住神，真係俾我可以有勇氣去説神嘅恩典，去感謝主。屈指一算呢，喺主恩浸信會，我已經係32年啦。回想以往，真係喺教會經歷所有嘅風風雨雨，真係一浪又一浪。教會好多年都係冇牧師，甚至有一段時間係冇執事。有一段咧，我哋連教會都返唔到嘅。當時我嘅心都係好唔開心，好唔舒服，都會間中問下神，點解教會經歷咁多困難呢？但係神係咪真係慢慢忘記咗我哋，唔記咗我哋，唔記得咗我哋一班我哋心愛你嘅姊妹弟兄姊妹？但係我對神嘅信心係堅定不移。我相信神愛我哋係不離不棄，神愛我哋一定係愛到底，永永遠遠。神會掛念我哋，記掛我哋，神會撇低我哋，神一定為我哋預備美好嘅一切，最好嘅地方，預備一個神俾我哋最好嘅家。喺我當初入教會嘅時候呢，我只係一個平信徒，因為我嘅性格內向啦，所以真係好怕同陌生人傾談去傾偈，所以即係每次喺崇拜之前，我真係最後一個嚟到，崇拜之後最早走嘅一個都係我，所以呢，直到後嚟我參加咗家庭小組啦，同弟兄姊妹一齊去研讀聖經，研討主耶穌嘅話語，同時呢，我亦都開始喺教會度侍奉，負責喺兒童主日學嘅照顧小朋友啦，喺茶水部去安排每個主日嘅茶點。感謝神一齊一路嘅帶領，我有一個侍奉主、侍奉神嘅心，侍奉弟兄姊妹。我喺2001年我就參加咗敬拜組，喺當最初嗰時咧，我哋每成隊嘅敬拜組嘅組員咧，都一齊出嚟敬拜嘅，一個領詩帶領我哋。當時咧，我都係覺得因為好輕鬆啊，冇乜壓力，完全都係大家好開心咁樣一齊去敬拜我哋嘅神。直到組長邀請我喺崇拜裏邊去領詩嘅時候咧，我又開始好緊張，因為我咩都唔識，我又冇勇氣企喺會眾面前去帶領大家一齊去領詩，一齊去做讚神。 後來得到組員嘅鼓勵同埋我自己嘅禱告，向神祈求啦，求神俾我信心，俾我勇氣，學習去放低自己，讓神進入我嘅生命裏邊。雖然過去喺敬拜組侍奉咗咁多年，但係當我練一師嘅時候，我都係一樣有壓力同埋好緊張嘅。但神真係讓我真真實實在咁樣感到神同我嘅同在，無論任何時間，神都唔會離開我，神都會喺我身邊去輔助我、帶領我。感謝神，我感謝神又帶領我個女兒鄭呢，我個女仔開成都喺教會裏面侍奉，願神賜俾佢哋有智慧、有能力，喺侍奉上邊心裏都係有喜樂，求主帶領佢哋，幫助佢哋。而家有我兩個孫女 Sammy 同埋 Josie， 喺每個主日都係喺主日學上邊去學習神嘅話語，希望佢哋從小都認識神，去認識神嘅恩典。而我另外兩個孫女雪瑩同埋文文咧，佢哋曾經都跟我返咗教會幾年，但係因為疫情嘅關係啦，同埋其他原因，而家佢都冇返教會。但願神嘅話語都係藏喺佢裏邊。感謝主，感謝主看顧，感謝主一直帶領保守，感謝主。求神賜福俾主恩浸信會，充滿主嘅恩同埋主嘅愛，將榮耀頌讚都歸於天父。最後，我讀出一段經文，係喺哥林多後書12章9節。他對我說：我的恩典夠你用，因為我嘅能力是在人嘅軟弱上顯得完全，所以我更歡喜誇自己嘅榮耀，好叫基督嘅能力服庇我。
Second testimony, we'll ask Josh to come.
而家就請阿 Josh 出嚟。
Good morning, everyone, and happy anniversary.
早晨，大家今日好高興係我哋嘅教會嘅生日。
And for those who may not know, my name is Joshua.
如果大家唔認識我嘅話咧，我想自我介紹先，我叫做 Georgia。
Now, I know a lot of you did not expect me to be up here today.
今日大家都可能冇預到我會上台分享嘅，
But here I am.
但係今日我出咗嚟啦。
And wow, is it more terrifying than I imagined it to be?
我覺得我上台咧，企喺度咧，比我想象中係經歷嘅呢個畫面。
But I have a feeling that it was God that called me up here today to share with you my experiences at this church and in my life.
咁我覺得咧係神呼召我，今日要上台同大家分享我喺呢個教會裏面嘅經歷，神喺我身邊嘅工作。
I had often questioned my faith in God, asking myself where He is.
咁其實我都不時會有呢個疑問，究竟神係邊個咧？佢喺我生命裏邊嘅角色係咩咧？
Or why haven't I experienced Him in my life yet?
點解我嘅生命裏面好似唔係好經歷到佢嘅？
But when I look around and I start to realize that He has been by my side ever since I was welcomed into this amazing community back in 2011.
但係當我靜落嚟慢慢諗嘅時候，其實唔係喎，佢自從2011年我入到呢個教會嘅開始，其實佢成日同我一齊嘅。
When the now grown-up youth and I were just little kids running around Sunday school.
咁當時咧，即係我仲冇咁大個啦，仲係一個細路仔跑嚟跑去喺主日學裏邊。
Quite some time has passed now, and we've all experienced highs and lows. We've lost and gained friends and family along the way.
咁其實經歷咗都幾多年下㗎啦，咁樣當中有起有跌，咁慢慢成長。
And through all of this, I've seen God's work transform the people around me.
喺呢啲咁樣嘅成長嘅階段裏邊，我見到神慢慢不斷咁樣改變我脱變咗一個唔同嘅人。
From singing songs in Sunday school to sitting around a campfire sharing our own testimonies and stories amongst the youth.
咁由喺主日學裏邊坐喺度聽古仔，到大下咧就去到青年營嗰度咧，就圍住個營火一齊喺度傾偈分享大家生活裏邊嘅點點滴滴。
And I know God has been active throughout all our lives.
我知道神喺我哋生命裏邊咧，一直咧係好積極咁主動咁工作嘅。
And it isn't only within the church. He has also helped me through my personal struggles.
咁唔單止神喺教會裏邊咧係參與我嘅生活，其實我教會以外嘅生活咧，佢都係泛都參與嘅。
For example, when we found out that Mum had developed cancer, I remember asking God to heal her as quickly as possible.
喺我生命裏邊嘅掙扎裏邊咧，神係有出現同我傾偈嘅。就例如我媽媽佢較早前係驗咗咧係話有乳癌嘅時候，我都有對神有一啲疑問嘅，但係佢都回應咗我。
And after that, I had no fear or uncertainty, as I knew that whatever happens, God had listened to my request and had taken control.
咁因為我祈禱又求神醫治我媽媽，但係咧我知道神係陪我一齊。當我靠住祈禱咧，我嘅心咧嘅恐懼啊係離開咗我。我知道咧係神係掌管我嘅生命，我嘅家庭。
And through my studies, for example, it seemed that every time I forgot about an assignment and I proposed to do, the teacher would be absent the next day.
喺我讀書嘅時候咧，我發覺有時唔記得咗做功課啊，突然間發現，哎呀，第二日要交啦，咁樣就好感恩咧。第二日老師自己病咗冇翻去。
While some would say it's by pure coincidence, I believe God was giving me another chance.
有啲人可能話呢啲係巧合啫，但係其實我相信係神俾我第二次嘅機會。
Perhaps a little too many times.
呢啲咁嘅細碎嘅經歷咧，其實不斷咁發生喺我生命裏面。
And something that I noticed is that my friendships within the church and in school were on a completely different level.
咁我見到咧喺我因為神嘅工作咧，我嘅朋友啊，喺我讀書啊，我哋見到我哋係上咗一層樓嘅，去另外一個經歷裏面。
And in most cases, I would always find it hard to have a deep and meaningful conversation with schoolmates. 咁而有陣時我發覺同我朋友啊，要好深入交談咧，其實唔容易嘅。However, I believe we can comfortably have a conversation among the youth. 但係我知道咧，當我哋我知道咧，我可以慢慢學習，就同我嘅年青嘅朋友啊一齊咧就交談咧，就分享我生活嘅見證。Which I think we can all agree on. Which I think we can all agree on. 咁而係我相信咧，就係我哋呢啲咁嘅，藉助我哋嘅溝通啦，將我嘅分享，咁而係可以其他朋友都係認同嘅。And all of this would only be possible through our relationship with God and the church, which we all share in common. 咁而呢一啲咧喺我哋之間係可以有呢個認同嘅交談，建立到我哋嘅友誼。我相信呢啲係靠住神喺裏面做到。I have never given it much thought, but recently I wondered if I had ever gone to GBCC. 咁我有時諗如果我當年冇入到嚟依間主恩浸信會教會，我會唔會認識神呢？ And what if I went to another church? 又或者如果我去第二間教會，我又會點呢？ The answer I ended up with was, I don't know what would happen if I went somewhere else. 咁我自己諗嘅時候就話其實如果唔喺呢度，如果當年唔係行咗呢一步，我真係唔知我變咗個咩人喎。Because I can only imagine myself being with this church, it would never be the same to me. 我而家就知道，因為我加入咗呢個教會嘅時候咧，我生命得到改變，一切唔再同以前唔再一樣。Happy anniversary, everyone！ 希望大家有個開心嘅環境。
Thank you。
多謝。
月平 and Josh。
多謝月平同阿 Josh。
I just want you to know that even for me, every time I come up, I'm a bit nervous.
我想講分享咧， 張啊。
今日好似好多人咁。
Today we got lots of people here.
It's so good to hear stories.
好開心今日聽到唔同嘅見證。
Each of them have different stories.
每一個嘅見證都唔一樣。
But the same good God.
但係有同一個好好嘅神。
How in His own way He has brought them and the family to this church and work in their lives.
我哋見到神用好奇妙嘅帶領佢哋同埋佢嘅家人嚟到教會。
Two different persons, two different families, one faithful God.
兩個唔同嘅人，兩個唔同嘅家庭，但係同一個係忠實信實嘅神。
This morning we want to, as we celebrate anniversary, we want to remember.
今日我哋慶祝堂慶，所以我哋一齊咧要紀念。
Remember God in our stories.
我哋要紀念神喺我哋生活嘅見證裏邊。
And it's important to remember that GBCC is a church.
我哋好緊要記得，我哋 GBCC 主日更進會係一個教會。
God had brought 38 years ago pioneer this church.
30幾年前，神引領咗一批先鋒部隊就嚟創立咗教會。
We are here today in this building.
我哋今日喺呢個會堂裏邊。
God used people to build this church.
神用唔同嘅人嚟建立呢個教會。
We want to remember God in our lives.
我哋想喺我哋生命裏邊記住神。
And in this church.
同樣地喺呢個教會裏邊都要記住神。
When we did church history during the baptism classes with Sarah and Auntie Joyce.
咁樣咧，當我哋搞浸禮班嘅時候咧，咁有阿 Joyce 啊、Sarah 啊，我哋一齊就分享呢個教會裏邊嘅歷史。
There's a long story, 38 years, the ups and the downs.
咁我哋見到咧個歷史都好多嘢噏㗎，30年有起起落落。
Happy moments but painful moments.
有開心嘅時間，亦都有傷心嘅時間。
But the conclusion she has is God is faithful.
但係我哋嘅結論就係神係信實嘅。
Today we sit here 38 years.
今日我哋大家坐喺度38年。
Look around yourself. Look around you. Look around you.
大家望下隔離，周圍望下。
Look at the young one, the future.
嗱，望下我哋未來啊啲後生仔女。
Whether you like it or not, you are the future. You will be here someday.
無論你中唔中意，呢啲係我哋嘅未來。有一日你會企喺度嘅。
You will be the Jamie.
你會又係呢度嘅 Philip。
So that's what church is about: the young and the old, and the past and the future.
咁呢啲就係教會啦，有老有嫩，有過去，有我哋未來。
As you think about that, we want to remember God.
當你諗呢啲嘢嘅時候，你會記住，哇！神啊
God is in our lives.
神喺我哋生命。
This morning we'll look at the Old Testament.
今日我哋會睇睇舊約嘅聖經。
It's in Deuteronomy chapter 8, 11 to 20.
係喺《申命記》8章，申命記8章11節至20節。
You read in Chinese first.
我首先會用中文嚟讀嘅。你要謹慎，免得忘記耶和華你的神，不守他的誡命、典章律例，就是我今日所吩咐你的。恐怕你得吃得飽足，建造美好的房屋居住，你的牛羊加多，你的金銀增添，並你所有的都全增加，你就心高氣傲，忘記耶和華你的神，就是將你從埃及地為奴之家領出來的。引你經過那大而可怕的曠野，那裏有火蛇、蠍子、乾旱無水之地。他曾為你使水從堅硬的磐石中流出來，又在曠野將你列祖所不認識的嗎哪賜給你吃，是要苦練你、試煉你，叫你終久享福。恐怕你心裏說：這財貨是我力量能力得來的。你要紀念耶和華你的神，因為得財貨的力量是他給你的。 為要堅定他向你列祖所起誓所立的約，像今日一樣。你若忘記耶和華你的神，隨從別神侍奉敬拜，你們必定滅亡。這是我今日警戒你們的。耶和華在你們面前怎樣使列國的民滅亡，你們也必照樣滅亡，因為你們不聽從耶和華你們神的話。
我們 read in English Verse 11 said, Be careful that you do not forget the Lord your God, failing to observe His commandments, His laws, His decree that I'm giving you this day. Otherwise, when you eat and be satisfied, when you build houses and settle down, and when your herds and your flocks grow large, and your silver and your gold increases, all you have is multiplied. Then your heart will become proud, and you will forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. He led you through the vast and dreadful wilderness, the thirsty, the waterless land, where its venomous snakes and scorpions. He brought you water out of the hard rock. Verse 16 says, He gave you manna to eat in the wilderness, something your ancestors never have known, to be humble and test you, so that in the end it might go well with you. You may say to yourself, My power and my strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirm His covenant which He swore to your ancestors exists today. If you forget the Lord your God and follow the gods and worship and bow down to them, I will testify to you today that you will surely be destroyed. Verse 26, like the nation you have destroyed before you, you will be destroyed for not obeying the Lord your God. The book of Deuteronomy begins when they are about to enter the promised land.
申命記就係咧幾時講嘅咧？就係咧佢哋入去應許之地之前，咁摩西講出嚟嘅。
They have been wandering in the desert for 40 years.
佢哋已經喺曠野裏面咧，遊嚟都成40年啦。
So the first generation who came out no longer around.
所以第一代嘅以色列人咧已經死晒。
They failed to trust God. They were not allowed to enter the promised land.
佢哋第一代以色列人因為拒絕信靠神，唔肯行入應許之地，所以佢哋喺曠野裏面滅亡。
Now it's the second generation that God is going to speak to this in this book.
咁而家嗰班咧就係第二代嘅以色列人，而神要向第二代嘅説話。
It's written to the second generation as they enter the promised land.
呢本書係寫俾以色列人嘅第二代，喺佢入應許之地之前，要話俾佢哋聽。
And it's like a guidebook.
就好似一本指南一樣
，reminding of God's promises，
提醒佢哋神俾佢哋嘅應許
，instruction on how to worship God and then enjoy the blessing of God，
係俾一啲指引俾佢，教導佢哋咧點樣去敬拜神，等佢哋咧可以喺應許之地享福有喜樂。
It's about remembering so that you can follow God and obey God。
係講紀念，以致佢哋可以跟隨神，記住神。
Likewise, today as Christians, we have been blessed.
今日我哋作為基督徒，我哋得到神嘅福氣。
Communion reminds us of what Jesus has done.
聖餐話俾我哋聽紀念耶穌基督為我哋所做嘅一切。
It's finished. We are set free.
一切已經成就咗啦，我哋自由啦。
But we cannot live the way we want.
但係自由啫，唔代表你可以任你想做乜就做乜。
There's a way to live as the follower of Christ. 作為
基督嘅跟隨者，我哋嘅生活存留係會有一個特定嘅模式嘅。
Chapter 8 is about reminding them to keep the commandment and not forget what God has done for them. 申命記第8章就係提醒佢哋，你哋要
記住神俾你嘅吩咐，神嘅指引。
And remember God.
係，同埋你哋要記住神。
So this morning I have 2 questions.
所以今日咧，我有2個問題。
What makes us forget?
乜嘢令到我哋遺忘咧？
The second question is, what do we need to remember?
咁第二條問題就係，究竟我哋記住神啲咩咧？
What makes us forget?
究竟咩嘢令到我哋冇記性咧？
Verse 12 and 13 says, Otherwise, when you eat and be satisfied, when you build fine houses, settle down. Verse 13 says, When you have herds and flock grow large, your silver and gold increase, and all you multiply, then your heart become proud.
嗱，12、13節所講，恐怕你吃得飽足，建造美好的房屋居住，你的牛羊加多，你的金銀增添，並你所有的全都增加，你就心高氣傲，忘記耶和華你的神。
Good time, prosperity, and success.
所以咧，好日子啦，豐富嘅物質生活啦，同
success，
同埋你嘅成功啦，就會令到你忘記神。
All of us like to progress and improve.
我哋每一個人咧都想更上一層樓，改善我哋嘅生活。
For example, education is a good example.
例如好嘅教育啦，係一個好嘅例子。
We believe that education helps us improve our lives.
我哋知道教育係可以改善我哋嘅生活，
Our social status and our financial status.
亦都可以改善我哋社會地位同埋我哋金錢嘅銀包嘅口實。
That's why it's very common. Besides migration, we send our children overseas to study, isn't it?
所以咧，大家都好積極㗎。除咗移民之外咧，我哋都好積極咧，就會灌輸好嘅教育俾我哋仔女。
We really start saving when they're born, buy insurance when they're born, right?
嗱，我哋一生仔女就即刻買保險啊，即刻幫佢哋為佢教育準備。
Make sure we have enough finance to let them have further education.
好緊要咧，佢哋有足夠嘅錢財咧去讀好嘅學校、好嘅教育。
And today there's so many self-development for ourselves. You know, we read, we study, we listen to podcasts, and we attend seminars.
咁就算係我哋咧，今時今日咧，我哋自身都好多自學嘅途徑嘅。我哋可以咧上唔同嘅課程啊，我哋可以聽播客啊，可以睇好多嘅唔同嘅學習講座。
Church life too, we want to progress.
甚至教會嘅生活，我哋都想更上一層樓。
From the starting with a few people renting a hall to buying a building.
嗱，可能咧一開始嘅時候咧，就幾個人就租借一個會堂嚟聚會，跟住咧我哋就想買自己嘅地方，又一個大嘅會堂。
And we try to reach out to new families and non-Christians.
我哋又想咧就接觸咧啲新嘅家庭啊，佢哋未信耶穌嘅家庭。
Even today, we are trying to reach out to new families and people that do not know Christ around us.
即使今時今日，我哋都想咧接觸到嗰啲未信耶穌、未認識耶穌嘅新嘅家庭。
In many ways, we have really very privileged to live in this country.
所以好多方面咧，其實我哋係好有特權嘅，我哋享受好喺今時今日喺呢個國家喺呢個教會裏邊，我哋享受好多嘅其他國家冇嘅嘢。
Good education, freedom of speech, and liberty.
有好嘅教育啦，可以自由咁講嘢啦，我哋自己享受嘅自由啦。
In other words, we live a really good life.
所以換句話說咧，我哋咧其實我哋嘅生活都算幾好㗎，比起出面好多人。
Good Christian church life.
有好好嘅基督徒嘅生活。
Like verse 17, we eat well. We have Chinese, Italian food, Korean food, Vietnamese food, cha chan teng, Japanese steak. We got so much food. We do eat well.
嗱，第17節嗰講啦，我哋食得好，哇！我哋都食得好好啊，又有韓國嘢啊、日本嘢啊、靚牛扒啊、茶餐廳啊，好多好多嘅正嘅美食。
We buy houses, we build houses.
嗱，我哋買屋，甚至自己起屋。
We got lots of super.
我哋嘅公積金又幾豐盛
Good life.
啊，好好嘅生活。
Some of you are very successful.
你哋在座有啲人係好成功㗎。
The question is it possible to forget God when we are successful?
咁今日問題就係、當你享受呢啲成功成就嘅時候，你會唔會有機會唔記得咗神？
We got a Cantonese service that you have feather and you have wings.
中國人嘅説話有毛有翼。
When you hear that, it's not actually good.
你聽到呢句説話，你知道啦，有貶義啊。
It means that you've forgotten where you come from. You're independent now. You don't need the older generations.
呢句説話引申嚟講係咩咧？即係話你咧忘記咗你初係點嘅樣，你忘記咗你初你唔記得咗有啲咩人幫過你，你而家獨立啦，有毛有翼開始飛啊！
This passage is to remind Israelites not to forget, especially when they are successful.
第8章佢呢度就係提醒以色列人，你唔好話到你有成就嘅時候咧，你唔好唔記得以前你係點嘅樣。
Yes, we can be very talented.
冇錯，我哋可以好多才幹。
Yes, we can work very hard.
冇錯，我哋可以好勤力。
Yes, we can be very faithful.
冇錯，我哋可以好忠心。
Yes, we can be very obedient.
冇錯，我哋可以好順服。
But we can also be very forgetful when we are doing well.
但同時，當我哋樣嘢做得好嘅時候，我哋就開始冇記性。
When we have a lot of successes.
當我哋有好多成功充斥我哋嘅時候
When we become competent and smart.
當我哋咧越嚟越能幹、越嚟越醒目嘅時候
Pride can come in.
驕傲就慢慢滲入你嘅心。
Verse 14 says, Then your heart will become proud.
第14節就話你就會心高氣傲。
So the question is, would success and good life cause us to forget?
所以個問號就係、究竟成功會唔會成功同埋好嘅生活會唔會令到你遺忘咧、忘記咧？
It's a question that you and I have to answer individually.
我哋會唔會忘記神咧？我哋要自己問一問自己，自己先揾呢個答案。
As a church, we have to answer that question.
作為一個教會，我哋都要回答呢個問題。
The second part is remember. What do we need to remember?
第二部分就係我哋要記得有啲咩嘢我哋記得咧。
Verse 15 and 16 talk about how they have to remember how God have led them in the wilderness.
第15至16節就係話你哋要記得神點樣引領去到個曠野。
Realizing that all we have comes from God.
你要明白我哋所擁有嘅一切嚟自神。
Here in this passage, God is reminding them, the nation of Israel, that it is God that delivered them.
喺一段經文裏邊，神就要提醒佢哋，你哋記得係我，你嘅神拯救釋放你出嚟。
There were slaves in Egypt.
你哋以前喺埃及係奴隸嚟啊！
That means they have nothing.
奴隸即係咩啊？即係乜都冇。
God took them out of Egypt and brought them to the desert and provided them with food, water, and protection.
神就由以色列帶領咗出嚟，俾佢哋食物，俾佢哋水。
You know, 40 years in the wilderness.
40年喺曠野裏邊。
The passage described in the end of it, the sandal did not wear out.
喺經文裏邊話，40年嘅曠野裏邊，嗰對草鞋冇爛到喎。
Imagine having one pair of shoes for 40 years.
你諗下40年着同一對鞋。
How many of you have more than one pair of shoes?
你哋幾多個人多過一對鞋
More than 5?
嗱，或者5個多過一對鞋㗎。
More than 10?
有10個人多過一對鞋。
I mean, imagine, you know, Some of us buy shoes because we like the shoes, not because we wear out, right?
有，你諗下，我哋好多人買鞋做乜買鞋啫？唔係因為冇鞋着，我係因為中意啲鞋靚而買。
We need to remember it is God's provision.
我哋要記得係神嘅供應啊！
What about us? Now it's speaking to us.
但係適應喺我哋生活裏邊又會點咧？
What do we need to remember?
我哋要記得啲乜嘢咧？
What do we need to remember about our lives, our family?
我哋喺我哋嘅生命裏邊，喺我哋家庭裏邊，要記得啲咩？找住啲咩？
What have you achieved?
究竟你成就咗啲咩咧？
What are the good things that you have in your family?
你喺家庭裏邊有啲咩好嘢？
What about church life? What about GBCC?
喺你教會嘅生活，喺主日浸信裏邊，主日浸信會裏邊，你有啲咩好嘢帶出嚟？
Who brought you to GBCC?
邊個帶你翻呢個教會咧？
Who taught your children in Sunday school?
邊個喺主日學教你啲細路仔？
Who helped you in your life group?
喺你嘅小組裏邊，邊個幫助過你咧？
Who prayed for you when you're down?
當你低沉嘅時候，邊個為你祈禱？
Who visited you?
邊個嚟探你咧
38 years is a long time.
？38年係一段長嘅時間。
Some of you is all your life.
對某啲人嚟講咧，38年就係你成世啦。
Some of you exactly 38 years.
有啲人係啱啱38歲。
And GBCC experienced God's faithfulness and grace.
主恩浸信會喺38年裏邊經歷咗神嘅恩典。
Remembering is an important part of walking with God.
記住、找住係一個作為基督徒係一個好重要嘅環節，你記住神係好緊要嘅，作為基督徒。
Because it is always about Him, it is always Him.
因為樣樣嘢都關乎佢，
He creates,
佢創造，
He blesses,
佢祝福，
He loves.
佢愛，
He will continue to be involved in your life and my life.
佢會繼續喺你同我嘅生命裏面作工。
Yes, we do play a part.
冇錯，我哋係有做嘢嘅。
But it is always God that gives and God that blesses.
冇錯，我哋有份做嘢，但係最緊要就係神永永遠遠常常都喺我哋身邊係施予祝福。
Our part is to remember.
而我哋嗰部分就係我哋要記住。
Verse 17 to 18 says, You may say to yourself, My power and my strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember that the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. So confirm His covenant with His swore to your ancestor as it is today.
17、18節咁話，恐怕你心裏說，這財貨是我力量、我能力得來的。你要紀念耶和華你的神，因為得財貨的能力是他給你的，為要堅定他向你列祖起誓所立的約，像今日一樣。
It is He who gives us ability to produce wealth.
係神俾我哋能力去賺錢。
38 years of God's hand upon us and GBCC.
38年，神同喺呢個教會裏邊。
The good and the not so good, the difficult times.
無論係得時不得時。
This morning we are asked not to forget when we are doing well.
今日我哋提醒大家，唔好唔記得，當我哋好日子嘅時候，唔好冇記性。
And remember what God has done.
我哋要記住神為我哋做過啲咩嘢。
I hope you will continue to celebrate God's goodness and faithfulness for many, many more years.
我希望我哋咧可以再多好多年之後都一齊喺度係慶祝神啊喺我哋教會喺我哋生活裏邊做一切美好嘅工作。
There is much to celebrate because God is good.
我哋有好多嘢可以一齊慶祝嘅，因為神真係好好。
Amen.
啱。